Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to Sean's Horror Corner. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate everybody tuning in. And today I'm super excited to welcome back the final girls, Sarah and Kellie. Thank you both so much for coming on.
Hi,
Thank you for having
Sean.
us.
Thanks for having us again. Yeah.
Absolutely. We finally got through Jeepers Creepers, so now we get to start something new
Yeah.
and something better, really, in the long run. So that will be a lot of fun. Is that the first, just out of curiosity, is that the first time y'all had seen the new intro video that I have?
Yes. That was a
sick as
badass.
hell. I was just thinking, like, I was gonna be like, Sarah, how come we don't have a cool little like animated like intro thing? Of, like, we don't like do video, but like we could at least have it on, I don't know, social media or something. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
that's
it was
sick.
so. Matt, actually, from Getting Oft, a mutual friend there, I had asked him who he did his video because I really liked his, and so he shared the information with me, and I reached out to them, and yeah, they put that together for me. So
That's awesome.
yeah, it's very cool.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I've seen it several times now, but
That's
so
what
much
it's supposed to
better than what I
do.
had before.
Yeah. You want to be super jazzed every time you hear your intro music. So
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm sure by now everybody that watches my channel is familiar with the two of you. I still get feedback that some of the best episodes I have are the ones that y'all come on. So, but just in case somebody new is watching, go ahead and take some time to promote your channel and anything you might have coming up.
Kelly, do you want to take it or you want me to
Sure.
take it? Okay.
First of all, whoever is giving that feedback that you really like our episodes with Sean, thank you so much.
Yes. We're very honored.
Appreciate you, or all of you if there's more than one. So yeah, I am Kelly. This is Sarah. We're from Final Girls, and we do cover a different Final Girl every week on our podcast. And so they drop every Wednesday, and we like to cover all range of Final Girls. We always say this, but like your Ripleys or like your Sally Hardesties, or even maybe some more unusual ones that you haven't thought of as a Final Girl before. And we have a lot of really fun ones coming up, especially on our Patreon, where we're doing some interesting some interesting episodes for like non-movie specific things, shall we say. So
yeah, and Sean's gonna be on one, so super excited. Yeah, we're gonna be talking about whether or not we are in the golden age of horror. So I think we'll all pretty much be in agreement for a lot of that. But yeah, we're having so much fun. We're just meeting cool people. We've been doing this for 75 episodes coming out this week. Wow. Next week.
Very cool. Does it feel like longer than that, or does it not feel like it hasn't been that long?
I feel like it hasn't been that long.
Yeah, it feels like a blink. There's a period of time, I want to say like last March through September, that feels like kind of a fever dream, but I feel like that's when we were really kind of catching, getting our like stride, like hitting our stride. I think that was, so that seemed to like blur together. So,
but as you can hear from my description of our podcast, I still get little nervous flutters sometimes when I'm talking about the podcast. So, hey, if you find that relatable, yeah, still feel like newbies is what I'm saying.
No, I totally get it. So this episode is my 217th.
Whoa, very cool.
So this is my 217th. And there's times where I feel like I've been doing this for even longer. Like I feel like I've been doing this for so long. But I do still have those moments as well where I get nervous, and I'm still learning. Like I'm trying to figure out how to do things better and that kind of thing. So yeah, to know now that I've done 216 episodes so far, I wouldn't have thought that I would have made it that far when I first started. So it's pretty cool.
Most people don't.
Yeah.
Most people do not. Like 99% do not. So
yeah, I'm just having a blast.
Wasn't it? I read a stat somewhere where it was like, maybe I'm making this up, but it was something like 15% of podcasts make it past like the first few months. Like
it was not even that. It was like the first 5 episodes.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
Most people do not get past the first 5 episodes, mostly because it's just like once you start doing it, you realize how much work it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder what the graveyard of horror podcasts are that just haven't made it past 5 episodes.
I know there's gotta be so many.
I don't think people realize the work that goes into it, because it's funny every once in a while now when I get to watch a movie that I'm not going to be doing something on, it just blows my mind because I'm like, wait, I get to just watch this. I don't have notes, and
it's weird, right?
That kind of thing. But between trying to take the notes and get things organized, and then you're putting everything together, finding the right time to schedule thing. If you have guests on, you're trying to work out times with them, and then you've got to get it recorded. If you're going to do editing, you've got to get that done and get it uploaded. And I cut clips and put them on Instagram and TikTok, and so I'm doing that. And yeah, there's a lot more that goes into it, I think, than people realize. But I have a blast. So
yeah. That's awesome. Congrats on 217.
Thank you so much.
Very
I appreciate
cool.
that. We'll keep going and see what happens.
Yes. Here's to the next 217.
That's right. Absolutely. All right. Well, we are going to be talking about the Final Destination franchise, and we're starting, of course, with the first one from 2000. Spoiler-free thoughts on this movie before we get into anything.
I have 2 words. Actually, three words.
I think I know what some of them are going to be.
2000s Devon Sawa.
I knew Devon and Sawa were going to be 2 of those.
That's awesome.
I am such a huge fan of that guy, even now. Oh my goodness. I love him so much. This movie is so great. It's always been one of my favorites. And we just did Idle Hands for our show a few months ago. And I could see the synergy between Anton and Alex. And just love him so much. So
yeah, he's very cool.
That's my spoiler free is just Devon Sawa, 90s Devon Sawa. Yes, please.
Devon Sawa.
Got it.
Yeah. Yep. That was going to be a high point, for me as well. This movie is just so much. I feel this way about the whole series. It's just so much fun. Yes, it is just waiting to see what next gruesome death is going to, Rube Goldberg its way across your screen.
Right.
And there's just something really enjoyable and fun about that.
Yeah.
And they always find ways to make it to kind of subvert your expectations of how a death is going to go and make it a little bit extra and then maybe a lot extra. And I was just thinking today when I was rewatching it, I just don't get tired of watching this movie.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of really entertaining. I will say that, this is not a spoiler since the very first scene, but I did something I never usually do, which is I fast forwarded through the plane crash.
I knew you were going to
because
say that.
I am fucking flying to another state in a week, and Sarah is also, but I'm a nervous flyer, and I was like, "Fuck! I don't need this in my head right now." So.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. No, I get it. I think this movie is so much fun. It still holds up so well. It's hard for me to believe it's been 26 years since this film came out.
Mm-hmm.
That just blows my mind. But it's still just fun. Even though you know what's coming, you know what's happening, and I feel like the pacing is outstanding.
Yeah.
I feel like
it
just flies by. I mean, the runtime's not that long anyway, but I just feel like this one just goes by so quickly and is so much fun. So we're all on board with we like this one, so that's a good start. All right, we'll jump in. I'll mention a few things here real quick, and then we'll start talking about things. So tagline for the film, kind of a long one: no accidents, no coincidences, no escape. You can't cheat death. Brief synopsis for the film: after a teenager has a terrifying vision of him and his friend dying in a plane crash, he prevents the accident only to have death hunt them down one by one. Film released March 17th of 2000. Directed by James Wong, screenplay by Glenn Morgan, James Wong, and Jeffrey Reddick. The story was by Jeffrey Reddick. 98-minute runtime, $23 million budget, made $112 million at the box office. I'll name a few members of the cast, and then we'll talk about the casting characters. Devon Sawa, Ali Larter, Kerr Smith, Tony Todd, Sean William Scott, and Kristen Cloak. We'll stop there, and I already know you guys love Devon Sawa, but give me your thoughts on cast and characters for this one.
My first thought was, where the hell has Ali Larter been?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
she's been doing.
She was just on. Okay, I was literally going to mention her because I just saw a red carpet photo of her, within the last month, and
really?
she is stunning. I'm like, girl, Where's that fountain of youth? What are you drinking? What's in your water? Let me see. I have to find where she's. But yeah, I love Allie Larder. I think she's amazing. I love her in Legally Blonde. She was in that movie. I think it's called Obsessed. It's the Fatal Attraction.
Yeah.
Right. I used to like her on Heroes. For any other fellow Heroes fans, and but I really couldn't remember much else that I had seen her from, and I do have her on our list to do as a final girl at some point for the ridiculously named Clear Rivers.
Yes.
Still don't know why they went that direction. It's
I don't
the
either.
choice.
I had remembered her. Of course, I mean, I know her from Heroes as well. I believe she was in Varsity Blues. That may be in the first thing that I ever saw her in. And then she's been in several of the Resident Evil movies. Other than that, I wasn't sure of anything recently that she.
So she's in the show Landman.
Landman?
Yeah, it looks, at least that's what it looks like. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That was April 17th of this year. She was at the walking the red carpet for Landman. Okay. So whether she's in, I don't know, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. She's amazing. I love her. I keep thinking of her as Brooke Wyndham from Legally Blonde.
Okay.
But yeah. I love this cast. It's so Y2K. I mean, Sean William Scott.
Yes.
I love that guy. Although Billy is a very toned down Stifler, which I love Stifler. But he, Sean William Scott can't just play Stifler. So, right. But he was good. He was good as the dopey friend, and and Kerr Smith. I mentioned him in our My Bloody Valentine. Yeah, I remember watching him in Dawson's Creek. So I really like him. I always thought he was I used to think he was so cute when I was a kid. I was like, ooh, that dark hair. He's so cute. A little heartthrob. So I liked, and then Tony Todd. I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we also have, I always forget her name. Okay, never mind. I was thinking of the second one. So it was funny because I was enjoying this one so much that pretty much right after I just clicked over to start the second one too. And I told myself I wasn't gonna get them conflated, but I already am. But yeah, it's just once I rewatched the first one, I was like, I'm just gonna start this marathon, and that's how fun it is. Even though I've seen them 100 times, I'm I'm just gonna keep going. So
nice. Yeah, I like the cast as well. Were there any? I think even as far as characters, there wasn't really anyone that I disliked. Maybe Kerr Smith's character was the closest. He's kind of a jerk.
He's a dick,
but at the same time, I think you a little bit understand. I mean, after everything they've been through, they're probably all going to be affected. But I mean, he's the closest to being a character that I didn't like. Other than that, I like everybody in this film. It's funny because I've seen these multiple times as well, but I hadn't watched this one in quite some time. And for some reason in my head, Tony Todd was in this a lot more than he's actually in this, but he's really just that one scene. For this movie. Yeah. And I don't know why I thought he was in so much more of it, but I mean, I think it's an amazing cast. I think everybody does a great job. And one of the things I say a lot of times when I cover slasher movies with some other people is when we're talking about the characters, I'm like, this seems like a group I could hang out with. I would hang out with these people. They seem fun. I would prefer that it was under different circumstances, but it would still be a fun group to hang out with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they're not as much of the cookie cutter stereotypes that we get nowadays. Yes, Kerr Smith is the closest to the obnoxious jock type. And Sean William Scott is the dopey guy, but it's not as superficial and vapid as it can be sometimes, and as some of the later movies are. And so they kind of seem like real teenagers that you could hang out with. So I agree.
All right, let's talk about a couple of production notes, and then we will get into the plot and actually start walking through this a little bit. I just have a couple of things. One, this is James Wong's directorial debut. And then, so this originally began as a script for an episode of The X-Files. I never watched the X-Files. Did either one of you watch the X-Files?
No.
Eric watched it
Eric is all about
religiously.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So when we rewatched it last night, and he was like, did you know it's the X-Files? It like, yeah. So I didn't know that until last night.
Until last night. Okay. I never watched it either. But I know of it. I mean, I know it's a big deal to a lot of people, but
Sure.
I think I had heard maybe somewhere a long time ago that that's what this started off to be and then changed. But the Jeffrey Reddick, who wrote the story, got the idea from a story he had read about a woman who was on vacation, and on the last day of her vacation, she got a phone call from her mother telling her that she had a really bad feeling and that she should not take the flight home tomorrow. After talking with her mom for a while, the woman canceled her flight, and the next day that plane crashed. And so Jeffrey Reddick, that's where he began then to develop the idea for this movie. That I did not know, and that's crazy to me.
So would you guys act the same way in that situation? If you got a call from your mom saying don't get on that plane?
I guess it would depend on how persistent she was. In the beginning, I'm sure I'd be like, Mom, everything's fine. Like everything's
That's
okay.
what I would be. Yeah.
Yeah, everything's gonna be all right. And then if she just, would have kept going and kept going and kept going, I'd probably at some point, because it's Mom, I'm gonna be like, okay, I'll try to get another flight or something. Just, calm down. And then when I heard about the plane crashing the next day, I'd freak the fuck out. But,
I think it also depends on like how often your mom does that. So if your mom
Yeah.
is just like, if she's the kind of person that just freaks out about all that kind of stuff, or like, thinks she's a prophet or something. Otherwise, if it's like, if my mom said that, I would probably heed it if she was pushy enough with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Kelly?
I would.
Yeah.
I would not fuck around with that in any way.
As soon as she said it, Kelly's done.
I just like, if she felt strongly enough that it was worth like calling about and me trying to change my flight and make it like a whole thing. I mean, she'd probably be with me. My mom frequently travels with me, but like, I probably would fail.
Yeah.
Just be better safe than sorry. I'll sleep at the airport overnight if I have to, just to not be freaking out for the 5 hours or whatever that I'm on the plane.
Yeah, and my mom was very religious, so I'm sure that she would have those kind of reasons that she would put in there as well. And in the beginning, I would be like, "You've got to be kidding me!" At some point, it's Mom, so I would be like, "Okay, it's gonna be okay. Please calm down." All right, so we'll get into the plot now and start to walk through this a little bit. Of course, we get our opening scene where we meet Alex. He's preparing for this senior trip on his flight to Paris. We kind of see some weird things going on around his house as he's getting ready. We meet all these students. We see some weird things happening at the airport. We hear John Denver, the Rocky Mountain High song. And then Alex gets his premonition where the plane crash happens. He panics. He gets into a fight with Carter, causing them to get removed from the plane, along with Todd, Terry, one of the teachers, Valerie, Billy, and Clear Rivers before the plane explodes. So give me your thoughts on this opening scene.
Do you find it at all distasteful that they did use John Denver and that they also used some like real footage of news events?
That is a really good question. The John Denver thing, for some reason, no, I've never really, I know he died in a plane crash, but I've never really thought much about that side of it. I'm just like, okay, I see what they're doing. The real footage, maybe, it doesn't take away my enjoyment of the film, but it's a little rough if you really think about it too much.
If you think about it too much.
It's not, to be clear, it's for anyone listening, it's not the like plane crashing that is the real footage. It's
Right.
it's like the news, like some of the news clips and everything. And so it's just that's interesting as well. But no, it is a very, very, very memorable scene. I think one of the things that makes these movies so effective is they obviously gathered up a list. What are people's like top 20 fears that they have, and then started to like go down that list and stick those into the movies. And so, yes, plane crash, a lot of us fear that and wonder why. And so that's a big one. But then like they also, some of the deaths like gave us all fears that we didn't know we had, like in number 2 with the logs. And, you know, I won't keep harping on number 2, but it's like that one I think sticks out so much for people. Right. And so yeah, I think that's a really clever way to get into the audience's head and make it scary. No matter like who you are, you're gonna find something to be scared of in the movie. Something that you kind of like thought of before, maybe like an intrusive thought, like, oh, wouldn't that be horrible if like I slipped and fell on a knife or something like that. Maybe I'm the only person who has those crazy thoughts, but like so I feel like it does a really good job of capturing that and playing it out in exactly all the ways that you feared it would play out.
No, I completely understand. Sarah, your thoughts on the opening?
Okay. So there's 3 things. I had 3 notes. The first one was so we talk about trusting your gut, and I bring up that book, The Gift of Fear, so much. And this is like obviously a very fictionalized, practically supernatural version of this, but all these little things, these little tells, like the damage on the wing as he's walking into, or the side of the plane, or the terminal signs like flipping around, or the song in the bathroom, or the tray falling, like all these little things. It's a fictionalized hyperbole version of it, supernatural version of it, but that's a real thing that I am a huge proponent of, is like the gift of fear is, and I've said this so many times, it's all those little flags, those little teeny tiny red flags that your brain is clocking to give you that sense of something's wrong, I need to get out. And so this movie always triggers that in me in a good way. And so that was the first one, is just like, I just have to get that out. The other one is I love the score. The music to this is so fun. It's so like intense, but it's almost silly, but it's like, oh, it's so fun. So the music playing during the crash and all of that, and even up to the crash was really fun. And then my last note was and this is not my kind of humor, but I just found it so funny. His friend Todd goes like, go take a shit. Like there's a 7-hour flight. Those are not well ventilated. Can you imagine these hot girls coming in after you? Like, come on.
That is planning ahead. I don't care for that type of character, but I kind of respected that level of forward thinking. I was like, you know what? Okay, that makes sense in a really twisted, weird way.
Yeah, no, I get it. And, you know, it causes me to think back, you mentioning that, it causes me to think back to like high school and things like that. And I remember one friend that I had in high school that would probably say something like that. Yeah. It would be him.
There's always that one guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you guys notice in the, I'll share these pictures with you guys, but in the plane, like at this opening scene at the airport, in the plane, and right after, each of the characters that dies, there's an Easter egg that is basically how they die. This was the first time I've seen this movie so many times, and I didn't realize it. So like Todd does this little strangle thing,
right?
And what's her name? Trish, I can't remember her name, but she's like standing next to there's an image of her standing next to a bus.
Yeah.
And then Sean William Scott's character Billy, there's the plane crash like hits him in the side, or like the reflection is the side of his head. So I didn't notice that before.
I have not noticed that.
I didn't notice it. Yeah, I didn't notice it. And then when I was looking up some stuff after, like I did see that it mentioned that, and I was like, that's so clever. Because again, it's like, it's one of those things that your brain might clock and be like, that's weird, like that we saw it in that way. And then maybe, you know, later when it comes back up, it's like, it's almost this subconscious, you know, connecting the dots that could happen there. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah. Let me ask you both this, because I knew I was going to ask you this at some point. I thought about doing it at the end, but since the movie starts with it, then I'm just going to go ahead and ask you as well. Do you believe in premonitions? I'm just curious.
That's a really good question. I'm going to say yes. Maybe not like this kind of fictionalized version of it, but I think there's definitely like I am a huge believer in kind of that sixth sense. I think that's a real thing. And like I said, your intuition, your gut, your sixth sense is not like some magical thing that, you know, is just in movies. It's something that is picking up your surroundings, or even not just your immediate surroundings, but like community, global surround. I mean, it's all a summation of all the things that's happening in your environment that tells you something that you should listen to.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Kellie?
I always kind of go at this type of topic from the just POV of being agnostic. Like, so I feel like I don't necessarily say that, yes, I would believe that that could happen, or like, no, I don't believe that it could happen. Like, I'm just open to it. I'm open to it being a possibility, partly because I would just like it to be a possibility. You know, I would like to believe that there is, you know, another layer to our like existence and everything. And so I, you know, if I ever feel like it happens or I witness something that is similar to that, then it'll make my belief more firm. But in the meantime, I'm just kind of like, I don't know, maybe. Yeah. Could happen. Okay. Maybe. How about you, Sean?
Yeah, I think this is obviously such a fictionalized version of it that I think this is a bit extreme, but I do believe there's something out there, and maybe it's just as simple as intuition. I mean, maybe it's just a really good form of intuition, but I do believe in it because, I mean, I can tell you, and I won't get into these right now. I can tell you all later if you want me to, but I've had one instance in particular that I know where I wasn't even around the situation. I was at work one day and working, not thinking about anything else. And suddenly from somewhere, I knew something had happened at home and something was taking place. Like it just came out of nowhere.
Wow.
Like, interesting. Like, I'm probably just being paranoid. That's probably fine. I mean, everything's okay. And so I would go back to work and it just kept crossing my mind. And then once I got off work and got home, it had happened. Exactly what I thought was going to happen during the day had happened. And so that's got to be something, right? So I do believe in it. I just think this is a little much in the movies, but it's fun.
Okay, Sean, who's next on the list? Me, you, or Sarah? I need to know.
You know, I haven't seen any of that yet.
All right. So, I hope you'll let us know.
I will, absolutely. I'm definitely the person that would let people know. Because, I don't want things to happen like that to my friends. So I'd be reaching out to people, probably driving them crazy. But, I have a lot of fun with this opening as well. I enjoy it. And normally I would have asked y'all before we got through the plot, and I got way ahead of myself for some reason. But what are your thoughts on this story in general? You know, I would always ask you about like the cinematography, the story, the score. Sarah, you mentioned the music a little bit while ago, but what are your thoughts on this story?
I love it. I think one of the things that I would actually say I love more about it. So the only thing I can actually like portray how I feel about this is just the one thing that I don't like about it. It's like, and that's the kind of the scene. Well, I know we'll get to the scene, but having the death be more of like an active killer rather than just something that like happened. Like I like the idea of the death being designed, but you know, with like the water leaking and stuff like that, and then retreating. I'm glad that didn't, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I'm glad that didn't exist in the later movies because what makes it scarier is the thought like, I am always scared about slipping in the bathroom. Like I am terrified. I always have those like flashes, those intrusive flashes of like the lawnmower, or things like that. So the fact that if it could be like, it could happen to anyone, that's scarier to me than having death be like an active killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, like imagining that if all the stars aligned in just the worst possible way,
Mm-hmm.
that and all of these elements were present in your home, and the right number of things happened at the right time, that something like this could, I mean, freak accidents do happen.
Sure.
And I think that is, I mean, these movies are just a display of a collection of freak accidents.
Right.
And there's almost nothing scarier than freak accidents
Mhm.
because they're so out of the norm that you couldn't possibly like plan for that, like plan to avoid them, you know. And so I think that it's like these seem really extreme, and they are obviously, but there are some deaths here that are reasonably possible.
Oh, absolutely.
And yeah, Sarah, like you said, slipping in the bathroom or in the shower, like that's one of my big fears too. I actually know my mom knows someone who died that way, and it's like that terrifies me. So
yeah.
No,
I get that, because other than and yeah, we'll get to it here in just a moment, because other than that scene with Todd's death, where the water seems to be chasing him around the bathroom. Yes, slipping in the shower. Perfect. In fact, it reminds me, he would kill me, but I don't think that particular brother listens to my YouTube. So when we were growing up, my brother Chris, who's like 5 years younger than me, and we were kids, he was always playing around in the shower. I just remember my parents constantly telling him, stop playing, like take your shower and get out of there. And so one day he's in there, and all of a sudden we hear a scream from the other room. And so he had been trying to, we go in there, and of course, you know, I'm like his older brother, I think it's funny, but we go in there, and I guess he had been trying to put his feet up on the side of the bathtub and like walk along.
No.
I know. Yeah, he was an odd kid. And he slipped, but when he slipped, he had his back turned to like the faucet and everything. And so he fell, and his this is so funny to me. His ass hits the faucet, and the little part that pulls up, you know, you would plug the drain or whatever, ended up cutting the bottom of his ass cheek. And my parents had to take him to the emergency room to get.
Oh. Sean, you froze. Sean's frozen. I don't think that was us.
Okay. There he is. There he is.
Oh, you froze for a second.
You had to take him to the ER to get stitches.
And for him to get stitches, and I gave him shit for the longest time about it. I thought it was so funny, but it just, things happen, right? And that's a freak accident that you would never think of anything like that happening. So
was that what Bob Saget died from, right?
Yeah.
He like slipped in the shower.
They think. I mean, yeah, like can I tell an embarrassing little brother injury real quick?
Absolutely.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
I need to hear this.
You probably have heard it. I don't remember how old he was. But he did have to go in and get it taken care of, but it wasn't life-threatening. But in one of these movies, it could have been. He was like, had one of those stupid little like finger skate decks. Yeah. Okay. You know what I'm talking about.
I know. Yeah.
And where you would like flip it around a lot and like with your fingers do like little skate tricks. But then he was doing it with a pen that he had instead. And so he was kind of like flipping the pen around and then slamming his hand down onto it, as you do, I guess. And just happened to slam his hand down at the time when like the pen tip was pointing straight up.
Oh, no.
And so it like penetrated his hand. And I really remember this because the screaming started instantly, and I just left the room. I just like ran out of the room. I was like, I don't know what to do with this, and my parents, you know, were there, and so they took care of it. It was. I haven't talked to Eric about that in a long time.
He still has the scar.
Okay, yeah, it was pretty scary at the time.
Yeah, those freak accidents are very scary because like even if someone told you that any one of these deaths was going to happen in this, you wouldn't believe it. Like,
you wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, the knife is going to fall and then you're going to slip and then there's going to be a fire and then all these things. You'd be like, okay. Like you could try to like realistically prevent one of them or try to like prevent one of them, but that's what they're freak accidents and you wouldn't even believe it.
I was going to ask this later, and I know we should get back to the movie in like a second, but I was going to ask, like, what is your because I thought about this a lot today. What is the way that you think you would meet your like ironic death?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Wow, that is a good question because I don't have, what would happen to me because there's really not too, I don't know. I am terrified of wasps. I don't know why, but I am absolutely terrified of wasps.
Oh, because they're awful?
Well, yes, that would be part of it as well. But they freak me out. I'll get rid of spiders. I can deal with whatever you need me to get rid of. But if there's a wasp, I need somebody else to take care of this wasp for me. They really scare me. And I can see with the kind of luck that I have, because I live on the second floor in these apartments and I go out on my balcony and smoke. And every once in a while, there's wasps flying right out there. Now, luckily, the railing is pretty high, but I can just see me panicking, trying to get away from the wasp and like fall over the railing and fall to my death. Like, that's what would happen to me. It would be a wasp that would lead to my doom.
Okay, good answer.
Interesting. I'm trying to think. Well, mine, I'm trying to think like what would be the most like in my house. It would have to be like a Shaun of the Dead situation with my vinyl records or something. Like I trip and fall and like the record slices my head off or something like that, or the needle for the turntable like pierces my eyeball or something like that. That's what I would imagine. It would be some vinyl record situation.
Okay.
So
do you have one, Kellie? Yeah.
Because I was thinking about this today. I've been doing this massive like spring cleaning project at my house, which really just means that I take everything out of every like nook and cranny and like bring it all out to the surface, and then I start like putting things back like where they make sense and donating a bunch of stuff and trashing a bunch of stuff. And like I can't stand when I don't know like what's in that drawer in the closet. Like I need to know all the things. So what that leads to is rooms that like temporarily, because it drives me insane, look like a bomb went off in the room. And so there'll just be like miscellaneous things like all over as I'm working my way through like the various items. And I have had a couple of near Final Destination situations with the stuff that I've been pulling out of corners, because today I was shredding a bunch of stuff. And I realized as I was shredding that I was leaning like really close to it. And like, fortunately, my hair is not like long anymore. And so it's like less of an issue, but I was still like, oh my God. And then I was cleaning out the shredder afterwards too. And I was like, I didn't even unplug it. What am I doing? And so, and then
I worry about my hair all the time. That's a good point.
I know. And then so we have a bunch of like cosplay weapons and stuff like that. And some of them are actually could be quite dangerous in the wrong situation. And there's this one sword, fucking don't even ask. There's a sword, and it has this really sharp like handle, like tips on the handle. I have stepped on it like 10 times. Even doesn't matter where I move it, I keep stepping on the end of it, to the point where yesterday I like quickly ripped my sock off and I was like, oh my God, please don't start bleeding. Please don't start bleeding. And it didn't, fortunately, but now I have it like wrapped in bubble wrap and like put away until I figure out where to hang it. And so I'm just like, I'm positive that I would meet some hilarious death amidst
with all your cosplay stuff,
piles of like weird cosplay swords.
You trip on the sword, and then like a big box of your costumes fall down. And
because it couldn't be a death by the sword, because that would be too obvious, but the sword would have to like lead to it. And then if we want to make it extra ironic, we can bring AI into this too, because I have my little Astro robot that like roams around sometimes. And so if I wasn't looking and he like got underfoot, and then that's when I like fell or whatever, it's
I'm just picturing like your like the wigs all falling on top of your face and like suffocating under it,
or like choke on like the wig. What was that movie? Oh, was it Together? It's Together where he's like choking on the hair. Oh my God! It's like
so it's a body horror. It's a body horror movie too, Kellie. Your Final Destination situation.
It sounds like it. Yeah, we're giving somebody ideas for the next.
Yeah, exactly.
At this point.
Yes, have someone be doing like a Marie Kondo style, like tidy up of their entire house, but something goes terribly wrong. That's me.
I would see that. Yeah.
That sounds kind of fun.
That's so funny.
Anyway,
Right, so
enjoy that.
yeah. The FBI, they end up showing up there. They, interrogate the survivors. They're talking about things. We get the memorial service. We get kind of Todd and Alex having a conversation there, and then we get Todd's kill, where we were just talking about this. The water seeming to chase him around the bathroom for a little while before everything goes haywire. I want your thoughts on Todd's kill. We also see the FBI. They're go and they talk with Alex and Clear. And then this is where Alex and Clear go to take a look at Todd's body, and that's where we meet Tony Todd's character, William Bloodworth, and we kind of start to find out about Death's plan. But give me your thoughts on the Todd kill, and then the introduction of Tony Todd's character.
I don't think there's anything like shittier and scary. Not the slipping and falling is terrifying, but like looking at your childhood bathroom toys as you die, like, oh my God, that sounds terrible. Like that just is so rough. And like that's actually genuinely terrifying. And just all of it together is just like my greatest fear. That was really terrifying. The music was intense. Again, super scary music. But the other thing like that really struck me, and it worked because nobody really believes that Alex is like innocent in all of this. Right. But the dad comes out and he's like, "Didn't you see it? You caused Todd so much pain. He took his own life." Like they thought he committed suicide. Right. That's such a shitty thing to say to a 17-year-old kid. Like even if there's some sketchy stuff, I know you're in mourning, but like fuck that guy.
Right.
This is such a hard situation for everyone who is not Alex. I mean, it's hard for Alex too. But because like there's no getting around the fact that you would not believe that this guy had death premonitions. You just wouldn't. Right. And like, we talked earlier, like, oh, do you believe in premonitions? But if this actually like played out in real life in this way, and then especially with like a plane crash and everything, like saying like the plane's going to crash, don't get on, it would 100% go this direction where the FBI gets involved and everyone is like, dude, I'm afraid of you. Like the teacher says, like all of that is really reasonable. And so it's almost like a twist on what we always talk about with like final girls not being believed. Like Alex is in that situation in this movie, but it's like you kind of can't fault anyone for putting him in that situation because what the fuck are they supposed to do with the information that they have? I mean, he's the common denominator of all of these horrible things going on to people he directly knows. And so it's just, can't be helped.
No. The only thing I wondered here, I do like to see, it's probably my least favorite kill in the first one. Not that the kill's not good, but the water chasing him around bothered me, which was actually going to lead me to another question if I can remember it here in a minute. But the scene that before he dies, where we get Alex in his room and he's starting to get this idea that something's about to happen to Todd. Like his magazine goes into the fan and gets cut up, and then the words Todd are right there in front of him. Did I miss it? Like, did he try to call? Or did he just leave and take off to Todd's house? Because that's the only thing. And watching this the other night, I'm like, why didn't he call? Like, why didn't he try to reach out and get a hold of him? Because I think that's what I would have done. I would have called first to check on him. And then if you can't get him on the phone, then you take off over there. And I know that's a really pointless, doesn't mean anything question, but that did cross my mind. Like, why did he not call?
No, that's a good question. And it does lead to what I think is one of the sillier aspects of the movie, which is that everyone is constantly like nearby everyone else, or just like happening through the neighborhood of everyone else, or just like in the intersection with everyone else. And like, okay, I get that we need that. And maybe it's part of Death's design. I don't know, but it's just like so incredibly silly. Everyone's lurking in bushes near where things are happening. People are running to each other's, like they're just running to houses.
They're just kids. I guess
biking around.
Have nothing else to do.
Like, it's just, how small is this town that it's just question. Like these 5 or 6 people constantly encountering each other. And but it's a good point. They're just, apparently they all live really close by, and he didn't feel the need to call. He was just like, I guess I'll get over there.
They had cell phones back then too. They had Nokias with the face plates. So they and Snake. They could have called.
Something could have been done there, yeah. Which would have changed everything. The other thing that I wanted to ask you both, because I had read that James Wong had made a comment that after this film had come out and was doing so well, he almost regretted not having Death be an actual physical character in the film. That he wished they would have done that. But then when he was explaining his reasoning, it was strictly marketing and financial, because he was looking at like the sales of like Jason Voorhees figures, Freddy Krueger figures, all of this kind of marketing material, and they didn't have that for Final Destination. And he thought it would have been really cool if they could have had some kind of Death figure that people could have gotten. But I think that would have taken away from this movie. We actually got to see Death as a figure.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I think that would have made it much sillier. Like one of the reasons why it's scary, along with all the ones that we already named, like the freak accident part, is that it makes it more realistic, quote unquote realistic, when Death isn't something that you can see. It's not something that you can fight. It's not
run away
that
from. Yeah,
literally is like a person in a mask or something. Yeah, it's not something that can be negotiated with. We find that it's something that can maybe be like tricked. Maybe it almost never works. But like, so I think that having Death be this kind of nameless, faceless force of
amoral,
almost like force of nature. Yeah. Well, amoral, I don't know, because some of these kills feel really angry. I get the sense that like Death is really pissed off at that's at his or her its plan being foiled, and then comes back with a vengeance.
Okay, that's
like
fair.
That's the vibe that I get, because what the fuck with the teacher is maybe like the cruelest death out of any of them. I mean, any one of those things could have killed her. She didn't need like 50 of them.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay. What about, so I mentioned, we get Tony Todd's character, and then we start to find out a little bit about Death's plan. I mean, obviously, everybody loves Tony Todd. That's great. And so I think this William Bloodworth character is great. Did you like the idea of Death having a plan, and this being the way this goes in this film, where it's, trying to kill the people in the order they would have died on the plane? And did you need that, or did it bother you? Was it just, it's fine, whatever? Like, what were your thoughts?
I loved it.
Okay.
I was gonna say, I like it too.
I agree. Yeah,
and I like his speech. Like, there are no accidents, no mishaps. Every move we make, from the mundane to the monumental, it's all part of Death's sadistic design leading to the grave.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. I was just kind of curious there.
Yeah, I love it.
It makes for a great it's not like they're just sitting around waiting for bad things to happen. They can kind of come up with, at least they're able to kind of figure out more information, like, okay, there is kind of a list, and we think so-and-so is next on the list. We should get to them. We should try to like save them, prevent it before it happens, other than it just being like pure chaos.
Yeah.
It's
the
almost
final
like
girl research.
Yeah. And it's like Death has like a to-do list, and Death is pissed off that its to-do list wasn't finished that day. And so it's like, gotta check this one off. And so that's like what it feels like as you're going down the list.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. The next Death we get is Terry. They're all end up at this cafe. Like you were saying, Kelly, they all wind up right there at this cafe. And Terry gets upset with, Alex and I just drew a blank on his name, but them continuing to fight. And so then she, says her thing, and then she steps in front of the bus. Alex starts to even put more of this death plan together as it's coming after them in order. So we get Terry's death, then we get the teacher, Mrs. Lawton's death. Talk to me about these two death scenes. Your thoughts here?
Terry's just was like full on Regina George, but just like so quick and then over. Yeah. But yeah, Mrs. Luton, oh my gosh. Like you're like what you were saying, Kelly. And she had that was the other thing with the Easter egg for how she was going to die. In her house, she has like the stained glass like dagger that you see several
yeah.
times. But yeah, that was so fucked up. Like she was so scared. She was like,
Yeah.
looking out my window, I feel nothing but fear. She was so scared of Alex. And Alex was just trying to warn.
And she was dealing with the guilt of like sending the other teacher like back on the plane, and also all of her students and everything.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought that was the entire thing, the mug cracking and leaking onto the computer, which like that's so dated. I love it. The computer screen cracking and then shooting a shard of glass into her neck.
Oh my God.
Then there's the explosion in the kitchen and the knives fall down on her, and it's like woof. Yeah.
I felt like her and Todd back in the beginning, I felt like they had the most painful deaths, because a lot of the other stuff is so quick. Like we said, in front of the bus, it's over. With what happens with Sean William Scott's character later, theirs was the more drawn out and the more, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but I felt like hers was better because we didn't have the silliness of the water, like chasing him around the bathroom. Hers just, it's one little thing after another that just kept happening. And I was feeling bad for her. Like, damn.
That's a sadistic design. Yeah.
But that's a good point, because it's like, Terry and Billy both get instant deaths, like dead before they even know it.
Right.
And so it made me wonder, how is death deciding these things? Like who gets it really bad and who does like, I mean, things, there's a lot of scenes in later movies with like things falling on people and they die pretty much instantly. And then there are ones that are just like crazy shit, like the tanning beds and stuff that just go on and on and on. And it's like, why do these people deserve so much worse? Or is it just like the tools death had available in that moment?
Which I'm guessing is what it is. But I do wonder that sometimes as well, because it's not just this movie, it's the whole franchise. Every movie you have some deaths that are really quick, and I mean they suck, but that person didn't suffer,
wouldn't even know
really fast. Well,
you know what's
other words where it's horrible.
And those horrible ones, like in the later, I feel like this is something that didn't happen in the first one. Like there's a lot of like freakouts, like misdirection. I'm thinking of Bloodlines, where you think the glass is going to do this and then it doesn't, and then you think they're going to drink it, and then you think they're going to step on that, but that they don't. But there's a lot of kind of misdirection there. But this one didn't have that. It just was like boom, 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 shitty thing after shitty thing. For those two.
There was one in the second one where it's like it's a similar thing where 1,000 bad events occur to this guy in his house or in his apartment, and then when he makes it outside, like he slips on his spaghetti that fell on the ground and then gets impaled by like the escape ladder, and it's like what the hell? Or like the kid with the dentist and everything. It's just I think there is a lot more of that kind of jokey mentality surrounding the deaths later, which is fine. This is this is supposed to be entertainment, and that's fine. But Terry getting hit by the bus is also kind of a little bit funny, just because it's one of those scenes that has forever ruined the surprise element of being hit by a bus in movies. It's like it never works anymore. That kind of death in movies never, ever, ever, ever works anymore, because as soon as a character is anywhere remotely near the street and no one else is near them, we get like a shot where like we're looking at them as they're kind of like backing towards the street, or they're like near the street.
Right.
You fucking know what's going to happen. Literally, it's not even just horror movies. It's any fucking movie.
Right.
And so I almost feel bad for every subsequent movie that it has to deal with this, where I guess it was shocking in this moment. But then even now, rewatching the movie, if you had forgotten the death happened, you would know immediately to expect it. Yeah. And back then, people didn't. So it's just, it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, I completely agree. So at that point, the remaining survivors, we've got Alex, of course, we've got Clear, we've got Carter and Billy. They end up seeming to reunite. Alex is trying to explain Death's design to all of them, and Carter kind of has a freak out moment and takes off in his car and just driving all over every place before stopping on the train tracks and then ends up getting trapped in his car before Alex is able to save him at the last minute. But then we get Billy's death. So I want your thoughts here. But one thing I want to mention before I get that is I feel like that this is one of those things. I mean, I've seen this movie so many times. I know what's coming. But the scene where Alex is trying to save Carter and get him out of the vehicle, I still feel the tension in that scene. Just watching this the other day, I'm like, this is so fucking close. Like, there's no way. And I know they're going to make it, but I'm still like, Jesus.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What were you guys' thoughts here?
I agree. Yeah. I think it's partly because trains are one of those things that humans cannot really hope to survive in any way once you encounter that. And so it's like, oh shit, they're like milliseconds away from death. And then even when he gets him out, it still kind of looks like they got hit because it's so freaking close. And then, you have the bystanders watching, which that ramps up the tension too. Cause it's like, they can't do anything but watch and just hope that Alex is successful. And meanwhile, the seatbelt is like really gripping on. And because Alex didn't say like who was next in the conversation that they had right before that, you could reasonably think that I cannot remember his name in there. Carter was about to die, not knowing that, it was Billy who was next.
Yeah.
And so it's almost interesting because since Alex knew that, why did he even try so hard to save Carter? Because Carter should have theoretically been okay because it wasn't his time to die. So he would have been able to escape unless death was factoring in the fact that Alex was going to rescue Carter. Like he knew that Alex would do that. And then so it kind of creates like this weird paradox.
Yeah.
So but could you die without being on the list? Go ahead, John.
Oh, I'm sure you could. But no, I think to answer your question, I think at the time, Alex thought Carter was next because it's later that he's going back. When he gets ready to go try to save Claire, it's when he figures out that
you're right.
It was supposed to be Carter. And because he saved Carter, it skipped and went to Billy. So I think Alex thought it was going to be Carter. And that's one of the things that I like about this kill is because I feel like the other kills in the movie, you see coming. Like we know what's about to happen. When we've seen Alex's premonitions, and then we get Todd, and we know he's about to die. And we're with Miss Luton a lot here. We know that she's gonna die right before Terry gets hit with the bus. Like he has the brief little vision thing of the bus coming by. This kill doesn't give us that at all. So we think, oh, wow, okay, he just saved Carter, and then boom, out of nowhere, Billy's dead. So I like this kill because it's the one that I feel like would actually surprise me in this movie the first time I saw it. The rest of them I could kind of figure out and see coming, just not knowing exactly how. But this one I didn't even see it coming. It just happened.
I almost wish they hadn't shown the little sharp piece laying near the tracks before it had, like if it had just whipped up at him, I think that would have, but then you might have been like, well, where'd that come from? But that would have been even more shocking. But like, Sarah, to answer your question, like, can you die if you're not next on the list? I don't know. I mean, that's part of the plot, right? Is that they want to be able to skip people by like possibly killing themselves or, killing like later in the movies, trying to murder people to skip people on the list. But I feel like there were also scenes in the movies where it was like very clear that person couldn't die in that moment because they weren't next on the list. But maybe I'm misremembering. I guess we'll find out as we rewatch all the movies. So.
It's a good question. And I always, I think about things like that when I look at, and I like the fact that I feel like Bloodlines explain that a little bit. Even the one, and I don't remember which one it is, but the one that has the opening scene at the racetrack.
I think
there's a lot of people that die there. Now, we're just following certain characters, but a lot of people die at that racetrack. Now, again, like I said, we just follow the certain characters. One of the things I liked about Bloodlines is they kind of have that conversation in there at some point that all those people that died, and then because she stopped it, all of their families were being like pursued and stuff by death. I like that because it makes you then go back and think about the racetrack thing and what could have happened. How many families are actually going through all of this? So I thought that was pretty cool, but it doesn't answer the question of could you die if you weren't next? I don't know. That's a good question.
I remember.
Yeah. So from there, we get Alex in this cabin where he's set up all these safety measures, and he has some funny things happen. It's kind of a funny scene here in the cabin, I feel like.
Funny.
And then that's when he starts to figure out what happened. So he takes off to go save Clear. The FBI has also been watching him, so they're pursuing him. And then he finally is able to save Clear, almost giving the impression that he sacrificed himself in order to do that. But we do find out that he lives through it as well. What are your thoughts here with what was going on with Clear, Alex figuring things out, and then the first time you watched this movie, did you think he died for a minute?
I can't remember.
I thought he died. I thought he sacrificed himself and like he was dead, and she was like going to be.
I can't remember because it really. I mean, it's like a coin flip for that.
Yeah.
Like it could go with this the way the story set it up. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I don't remember what I thought. I know that if I were to see this movie for the first time nowadays, there's no way in hell I would think he was dead, just because no one's ever fucking dead in movies unless you see them like mutilated and in a coffin. Sometimes not even then.
Yeah.
But I like this scene as like the climax of the movie because it's so many movies go so big with their final act, and this is still a big set piece, but it's like a relatively small event. Yeah. It's like just this, we get the stormy stuff and then the risk of electrocution.
Right.
Which terrifies me. That's like one of my fears too, for sure. Yeah. And just kind of like this, it's just one of those chaotic moments of just a lot of bad things happening. Alex almost gets like impaled, when he's like tumbling, and it's just kind of one thing after another. And then the movie just kind of like moves on to like its coda. And then I think that's really cool. It just feels like it was exactly enough of an event to kind of cap off the movie until we get like the other cap off. And I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I agree. Sarah, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, this is going back to my millennial crush on Devon Sawa, but there's that part at the end where he's like, "I'll always be with you." I think it's not just me, but when he was in Casper,
I was just about to say
there's a line he gives to Christina Ricci's character, and he says, "Can I keep you?" And I think that was some kind of a romantic awakening for most millennial girls. Yeah. Because, and so that's what that reminded me of, like Devon Sawa looking, "I'll always be with you." I'm like, yes, you will.
And then we find out that Casper, instead of dying from pneumonia, he actually died because he was trying to rescue someone from being electrocuted, like in their car.
Oh dear. But yeah, that was my only note of the final scenes.
Okay. We didn't get to our finale. It's 6 months later. The three of them have gone to Paris, but Alex is still bothered by things, and then and now we see that it's actually Clear who has a premonition. There's an accident that causes all kinds of things to start happening. It looks like Alex is about to get killed. Carter intervenes and gets him out of the way. And then Carter says, "Who's next?" as we see this big sign coming up behind him about to smash him. Your thoughts on this finale, the way it wrapped up?
It was great.
Yeah,
I loved it. I loved it. It's just one of those, like, the last thing you see is just like fade to black before it. Oh, it's so fun. It's so fun.
Yeah, it's perfect. It perfectly fits the tone of the movie. It perfectly fits the theme of like, you really can't cheat death. And I like that, even though, at the end, they're kind of like just taking it all in, like, look what we made it through. And Clear is just kind of like, well, the only thing that we earned is like the chance at a full life.
Yeah.
Shouldn't even say like a full life, just the chance at a full life, right. Because they could still die way before their time. Who knows? Right. And I think that is really poetic. But then, of course, like I said, death just seems really angry and like just isn't willing to let this go. And so we get this final punishment essentially of the main characters for thinking that they bested death somehow.
Right.
And then that fuck you kind of moment kind of carries through to when we learn that like Devon Sawa's character Alex also dies after the events of the
right.
All right. There's no winners here.
No winners.
Yeah. No, not at all.
Except for Clear's stylist, because she went from being mousy brown to like blonde highlighted beauty. Her stylist won. Her stylist won.
Absolutely. Anything else y'all want to say about this one before we try to give it a ranking?
I think that was covered it. Yeah, I don't have anything else in my notes. Oh, no, actually, no. I said one thing. Devon Sawa, and this isn't just me like fangirling, he's so good at the physicality of horror. Yeah. Like, he's just so good. I mean, I'm thinking back at Idle Hands and how that was such good physical acting. He had to like pretend that his hand was a different entity than his body, and then how he had to like do the knitting, like he was separate, like he had to completely separate his wrist down from the rest of his body. And he obviously it's a different character, but he carries that into this movie. He's just very talented with that physicality. It makes for that perfect kind of teen horror where it's like kind of silly but also genuinely like action type horror, like thriller action horror. So I loved it. I loved. I
completely agree. Okay, on the scale of 1 to 10, what would you give Final Destination? Very curious to hear this.
I think I gave Jeepers Creepers an 8, the first one, or 7 or 8. So I'm gonna have to give it an 8 because I think it's very much tied.
It's fair.
It's so good. It's a comfort movie for me.
Yeah, I agree.
8 was my first impulse as well. And part of that is because, like we're saying, comfort movie or like rewatchability, the pacing is really tight. The characters are relatively likable and the deaths are creative. There's a reason it spawned a franchise.
Oh, absolutely.
First of all, it's a perfect idea for a franchise because that's just a concept that you could keep going forever and ever.
Yeah.
And it, because of that concept being so smart and so entertaining, even later movies that like don't match up to this one are still really watchable.
Sure.
And so I have to give this one a lot of credit for being at the just kind of implementing a really fun idea in a really fun way.
Right.
And doing something different, not having a slasher killer or, a monster or something like that. Instead, it's something that is literally the villain, if you want to put it that way, that we all have to face. For real.
Yeah.
So there's something fucking scary about that. We probably won't meet Michael Myers, but guess what? We'll meet death someday. So there's something really powerful about that, even in a silly horror movie. So
yeah,
I agree. So what would you? And maybe if you said it and I missed it, I'm sorry. But what would you rate it?
I said 8. Also, it's it's not a perfect movie, but it's so solid for a first entry, and I love it.
Yeah, it's so funny how close we have all been on ranking some of these movies, or even because when I was getting ready to watch this the other day, since I've seen it so many times, I'm getting ready to watch it, and I'm like, I'm probably going to end up giving this a 7, but let me watch it because I've seen it a lot. But let me watch it again. It's been a while, and after I watched it and took all my notes and got everything ready, I wrote down an 8. So funny that all of us have it at an 8. I think that happened a couple of times during Jeepers Creepers as well.
Yeah.
So, that wraps up Final Destination 2000, and I'm really looking forward to going through this franchise because we know it doesn't fall off like Jeepers Creepers did. Not all of them are great, but even the worst movie in this franchise is better than half of the Jeepers Creepers franchise. So that's exciting. But I'm also curious, with this one getting an 8, the bar is set pretty high. So I can't wait to see if any of the franchise scores better than that for either one of y'all. So it's
Yeah.
going to be fun to go through this and see what happens. But
Yeah.
yeah, as always, thank you both so much for coming on. It's always a blast when y'all are on here. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you. We love coming on your show. It's so fun, and we can't wait to have you on ours for our panel.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for that. But before we get off here, go ahead again and take a minute to plug your podcast and talk about it and anything you may have coming up that you can reveal.
For sure. I can take this one, Kelly. For sure. So we are Final Girls Podcast. And we, again, like Kelly said, we cover one iconic Final Girl per episode. We talk about her tropes and her triumphs and her tribulations and all the teas. And we like to kind of talk about what we learn from her and relate to, what we're going through today, what we're seeing today for women. And, this is the time horror is having a renaissance. And not only is horror having the renaissance, but the trope of the final girl has so drastically evolved, especially in the last 15 years. And it's even in the last 6 years since 2020, I think we've been seeing this change into this feral final girl. So we love to talk about these final girls, and not just recent ones. We talk about older ones, from the original final girls from Carol Clover's definition. We're just having so much fun. We take requests. So if we have any requests, that she's probably on our list. I mean, we've been pretty surprised. There's been a lot of people or a lot of final girls that people have suggested that haven't been on our list. So
yeah, it could happen.
It could happen. And we drop episodes every Wednesday, and we also do have a Patreon. We have 2 Patreon episodes a month. We do Final Daddies, in which we talk about the final guys that make it to the end credits. We have Final Cats, same thing. We do a lot of face-offs. We're having so much fun. You can find us on Instagram, Final Girls the Podcast, on Blue Sky, Final Girls Podcast, and our website is final-girls.com, and that's where you can find all the links to everything, because there's a lot of the term Final Girls is very ubiquitous in the horror community. So if you can't find us, final-girls.com.
Absolutely, yes, definitely check it out. I've said this before. I don't say it just because you guys are on here, but I love y'all's channel. You talked about you do older ones as well. It wasn't too long ago y'all did Kirsty from Hellraiser. And I loved that episode because I think she's an underrated final girl. I absolutely loved that episode. But yes, and definitely join, because the Patreon episodes are so much fun as well. So go check out the Final Girls Podcast, join the Patreon, and definitely show them support. They're great. Some of my favorites out there. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, do so. I've got some fun episodes coming next week. I'll be talking about, as we get ready to kick off the summer, I'm going to talk about Jaws 2 next week. I'll also have Aaron from A&B Horror Movies on. We're going to be talking about A Nightmare on Elm Street 3. And then Robbie and Kaylee from That Horror Couple return, and we talk about Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. So fun stuff coming. Be sure and subscribe so you don't miss anything. I'm on pretty much every form of social media out there: Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads, X, TikTok, Letterboxd. Just search Sean's Horror Corner. You can find any of it. But again, Sarah, Kelly, thank you both again so much for coming on. Can't wait to have you back. Looking forward to coming on your channel as well. Everyone, thank you for watching. Leave us some comments. Let us know what you think about Final Destination. Do you agree with us? What do you think about the kills? Yeah, just let me know. I love the interaction. So leave the comments, hit the like button, hit the hype button, hit the share button, do all the things, and I will see you soon.